The best type of wood chips are the tips. When the power line crews come through and they just cut the tips, these guys that are taking trees down in the yard, they let anything that will go through the chipper they'll throw in. They'll throw in big logs, and so you get a lot of woody stuff. It doesn't have as much potassium. But when they're getting the tips, the twigs and stuff, that's a very good source of potassium, because the tips concentrate the potassium. And leaves are not a good source of potassium because potassium is what they call translocatable. In other words, you can move it. It will be growing. For instance, I had a butternut squash and it grew 28 feet long, but all the leaves were gone except for the last 8-10 feet because they pulled all the potassium out of it and they kept going, robbing, and let the other leaves collapse. And then just kept moving and moving and moving like that. So it's translocatable. So do you think the leaves are going to drop a drop of potassium in the fall? No, they're going to suck every bit of potassium out of that leaf. I've done soil analysis of leaf compost. Some lady composted her leaves for 40 some odd years in one place. So I figured, well, I'll do an analysis because I'm taking this compost and plenty of calcium in it because the calcium is not translocatable and it makes the structure form of the leaf. So there's lots of that, plenty of that in there. It was a good balance, didn't even have to lime it if I'm using leaf compost. Way low, nowhere near enough potassium. Every bit was sucked out. Okay. Plants, there are two types. When it comes to elements, one type is translocatable and another type is not. So you need to know which one's which, and I don't recall them offhand in my mind right now. But the ones that can be moved. Oh, and it's easy to tell when the growing tip is always healthy, but the older leaves are dying. It's pulling what it needs into the new growth. If the new tip is dying, like the boron, not translocatable. Okay, calcium deficiency because of boron deficiency. That's not a translocatable because it's always the tip, the growing tip. So let's